Introduction. The power to control your mind. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. This profound quote from the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius serves as a powerful reminder of our ability to control our minds. It is so easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant flow of thoughts racing through our heads. Have you ever had that moment when, after a long and exhausting day, you finally lie down to rest, but your mind seems to be anything but restful? You're physically drained, your body yearns for sleep, yet your thoughts become frenetic, relentless. Anxiety rises as your mind floods with a never-ending stream of worries and concerns. You can't escape them. Sound familiar? We've all been there, haven't we? It feels as though our minds are in control, dictating how we feel and how we act. But what if I told you there is a way to regain control? What if you could stop letting your thoughts dominate you? What if you could turn your chaotic, overwhelming thoughts into tools for peace, happiness, and productivity? In Stoicism, the mind is not a force to be controlled by external circumstances. Instead, it is a domain we are capable of mastering. Today, we'll dive into the powerful techniques offered by Stoic philosophy to help you reclaim control over your thoughts. These methods will not only reduce your anxiety and mental stress, but will also empower you to live more peacefully, harmoniously, and with purpose. By the end of this guide, you will have practical Stoic tools to help you stop letting your thoughts control your life. Ready to embark on this journey toward inner mastery? Let's begin. Understanding the power of your mind. The Stoics understood that the mind is the key to everything. To live well is to master one's mind. The teachings of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca focused on cultivating self-control and emotional resilience in the face of life's challenges. But what does it mean to truly master the mind? It means realizing that your thoughts are not your reality. They are not the truth. They are transient, and they do not have to dictate how you feel or what you do. When we allow our thoughts to control us, we create unnecessary suffering. But if we learn how to observe them without getting swept away, we can begin to manage our responses and build emotional resilience. This is the core of Stoic practice, to detach from our thoughts and emotions, see them as fleeting, and create space between stimulus and response. Here are 13 practical Stoic tips that will help you stop your thoughts from controlling you, enabling you to live more fully in the present moment. 1. Embrace the principle of impermanence. The Stoic principle of impermanence reminds us that nothing lasts forever. This too shall pass. Thoughts are not permanent. They come and go like clouds in the sky. Understanding the impermanence of all things is the first step in freeing yourself from the grip of your thoughts. When you feel overwhelmed by a negative thought or emotion, remind yourself that it is temporary. This understanding will help you detach from the thought, making it less likely to control your actions and emotions. When sadness or anxiety arises, instead of clinging to the thought and letting it spiral, say to yourself, "This too shall pass." By acknowledging that thoughts and emotions are transient, you will cultivate a sense of peace and mental freedom. 2. Practice mindfulness to reconnect with the present moment. In the rush of modern life, our minds are constantly pulled in different directions. We are rarely fully present. Have you ever found yourself staring at a screen, but your mind is somewhere else entirely? Or perhaps you're doing a task, but you're lost in thought, disconnected from the moment? Mindfulness is the antidote to this mindlessness. Practicing mindfulness helps us reconnect with the present moment. By focusing on your breath and being fully aware of what is happening around you, you can stop your mind from wandering. Stoics recommend daily mindfulness practices, such as observing your thoughts without judgment. When you experience a distracting thought, gently guide your focus back to the present, recognizing the thought without becoming consumed by it. 3. Observe your thoughts without attachment. In Stoicism, we are taught to observe our thoughts without attaching ourselves to them. This is a key part of the practice of mindfulness. By acknowledging a thought's presence, but not reacting to it, we prevent ourselves from being swept up in its emotional charge. Imagine you are sitting quietly and a troubling thought crosses your mind. Rather than reacting to it, try to observe it objectively. I am having a thought about insert situation. By labeling the thought and observing it as just that, a thought, you create distance between yourself and it. This practice prevents you from becoming overwhelmed or controlled by your thoughts. 4. Use the dichotomy of control. One of the central tenets of Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control, the idea that there are things within our control and there are things outside of our control. Our thoughts fall within the realm of what we can control. While we cannot always control external events, we can control how we respond to them. When a troubling thought arises, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is no, release it. If it's something you can control, focus your energy on taking action. By doing this, you stop yourself from ruminating over things outside your control, and instead direct your mental energy toward what you can change. The 5th challenge is to examine our thoughts critically. Often, our minds generate negative, irrational, or distorted thoughts that cause unnecessary suffering. These thoughts may not be based on reality. When a negative thought arises, take a moment to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought accurate? Is there evidence for this belief? By questioning the validity of your thoughts, you start to weaken their power over you. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus urged us to ask ourselves whether our thoughts align with reality and whether they are based on facts or on assumptions. 6. Reframe your perspective. Stoicism encourages us to reframe our perspective on challenging situations. If you're dealing with a stressful situation, instead of focusing on what's going wrong, try to reframe it. For example, if you're facing a difficult work deadline, rather than focusing on the stress it creates, view it as an opportunity for growth. This practice helps to shift your mindset from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. The Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By reframing your thoughts, you free yourself from unnecessary worry. 7. Practice negative visualization. Another powerful Stoic practice is negative visualization, imagining the worst-case scenario. This might sound counterintuitive, but the idea is to help you prepare mentally for challenges. By imagining what could go wrong, you reduce the fear of those things happening. You may realize that you can handle the worst-case scenario, which ultimately lowers your anxiety about it. It also helps you appreciate the present moment and everything you have. 8. Detach from external validation. Stoics advise us to detach from external validation and focus instead on our own internal values. We are often controlled by our need for approval from others, but this only gives our thoughts power over us. Instead, develop an internal locus of control. Recognize that your worth comes from within. By focusing on what you can control, your character, actions, and attitudes, you stop external factors from influencing your mental state. When you stop seeking validation from others, you free yourself from constant mental turmoil. 9. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negative thinking. When you're feeling overwhelmed by anxiety or stress, practicing gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right in your life. The Stoics believed in practicing gratitude every day. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reflected on what he was grateful for, even in the face of challenges. By making gratitude a regular practice, you condition your mind to focus on the positive, reducing the power of negative thoughts. 10. Limit your exposure to external distractions. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become distracted by external stimuli, news, social media, and constant notifications. These distractions can overwhelm the mind and contribute to stress and anxiety. Stoicism teaches us the importance of simplicity and focus. By limiting exposure to unnecessary distractions, you create space for clarity and mental peace. Take time each day to disconnect from external noise and spend time in quiet reflection. 11th, build emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges. The Stoics believed that by training our minds to respond to adversity with calmness and rationality, we build resilience. When faced with a setback or emotional distress, instead of reacting impulsively, pause and reflect. Practice self-control and remind yourself that your emotional responses are within your control. Over time, this builds mental fortitude and emotional resilience. 12. Live according to nature. Living in accordance with nature was central to Stoic philosophy. This means accepting things as they are and aligning your actions with reason. When you align your life with nature's rhythms, you stop fighting against reality. By accepting life's natural flow and your place within it, you free yourself from unnecessary mental struggle. When faced with difficulties, instead of resisting them, embrace them as part of life's journey. This helps reduce mental friction and create space for inner peace. 13. Reflect daily. Finally, the Stoics believed in the importance of daily reflection. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, frequently reflected on his actions and thoughts at the end of each day. This practice allows you to evaluate your responses, learn from your mistakes, and improve over time. Each evening, take a moment to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, what thoughts controlled me today? How did I respond to challenges? By reflecting daily, you become more aware of your thought patterns and can make conscious adjustments to improve your mental discipline. Conclusion: achieving mastery over your mind. In the end, the path to mastering your thoughts is not about controlling or suppressing them. It's about cultivating awareness, detachment, and emotional resilience. The Stoic practices outlined in this guide offer you the tools to take charge of your mind and transform it into a source of peace, productivity, and happiness. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. By practicing the Stoic techniques shared here, you will gain the strength to rise above the constant barrage of thoughts that so often overwhelm us. Embrace these practices and watch as your thoughts shift from being the master to the servant of your life. With patience and persistence, you will reclaim control over your mind and transform your life.